Baltimore City Mayor Brandon Scott's office is struggling to explain how it received and spent money from the taxpayer-backed Baltimore Children and Youth Fund.
Patrick Huff has the latest in his investigation into how Baltimore City nonprofits spend taxpayer dollars.
You cannot have money just disappear.
For more than 6 months, Spotlight on Maryland has asked Mayor Scott's office for clarity on its partnership with BCYF, a nonprofit that received $16 million Baltimore City taxpayer dollars this year, guaranteed through the city charter. The mayor's initial announcement in March stated that BCYF provided $6 million for YouthWorks and $1.5 million for the mayor's youth engagement strategy. Meanwhile, BCYF's announcement in April claimed it provided $4.9 million for YouthWorks. The mayor's preliminary budget in April claimed BCYF sent the mayor's office $7 million. And city officials testified at city council hearings in June that BCYF's YouthWorks funding was only $3.9 million. We identified some unanswered questions about this partnership that we hope to resolve in a public information request. We asked Baltimore City for documentation of all the money the Mayor's Office of Employment Development received from BCYF and how it spent those BCYF funds. In response, the Mayor's Office provided documentation of $4.8 million spent on the YouthWorks program that organizes paid jobs for teens and adolescents over the summer. However, there was no documentation of how the remaining money was spent.
This is not, the 1800s where we're supposed to be paying cash for million-dollar projects.
That's Mike Watson, a director at the Capitol Research Center, who tracks ties between governments and nonprofits. He said Baltimore City needs to provide more records about its partnership with BCYF.
The government has a responsibility to make an accounting of it. You cannot have money just disappear or to, have money go in and out the door with there being no record of it.
A spokesman for Mayor Scott told Spotlight on Maryland Tuesday that the total amount BCYF approved to give the city was $5.9 million. This included $4.9 million for YouthWorks and $1 million for the summer funding youth engagement strategy, which funded projects such as teen pool parties and rock the block activities. When asked why no documentation of the $1 million was provided in our public information request, the mayor's spokesman said that your request only identified MOAD records and that records from other departments need to be separately requested. The spokesman did not respond to a question about what office managed the $1 million provided by BCYF, meaning there's no way for us to obtain records of how the money was spent. So how did BCYF decide to send money to the city government in the first place? According to its board minutes from April, J.D. Merrill, a representative of the mayor's office, joined the board to answer questions about a potential partnership. Merrill detailed this BCYF board meeting during his testimony at a June city council budget hearing. He said BCYF's board approved $7 million as a one-time investment to help the mayor's office address a budget shortfall.
We presented before their board. Their board heard our request. The board voted to approve the request to invest in our children and youth in this way.
Merrill was promoted to Scott's chief of staff in October. Baltimore City Councilman Mark Conway has been outspoken in his criticism of BCYF sending money to the mayor's office, a disagreement he cited as reason for his vote against the city budget this summer. Conway told us he's had similar struggles getting clarity from the mayor on his partnership with BCYF.
We haven't received any correspondence from the administration about spending on the money since the discussion over the summer.
He said Mayor Scott owes taxpayers an explanation about how it used BCYF money.
YouthWorks is a great program. I would certainly love to see it funded. It's the other money and the lack of clear direction for that money and the lack of accountability for that money that I had problems with.
Spotlight on Maryland previously reported on how BCYF told us in response to a public information request that it had no documentation of money it sent to Mayor Scott's office this year. BCYF President Alicia Lee and Board Chair Larry Simmons did not respond to questions about how much money they sent to the mayor's office. Baltimore City Inspector General Isabel Cumming released a report last month that found the Baltimore City Department of Audits has no record of receiving a financial audit from BCYF from fiscal years 2022, 2023, and 2024. The Baltimore City Department of Finance and BCYF have no record of a signed copy of their agreed rules and regulations from 2020, and that only 3 of BCYF's 10 submitted invoices from January 2023 to September 2025 included a list of its taxpayer-funded grantees. The Baltimore City Council was set to debate a bill later this month that would establish a series of new regulations and oversight of BCYF, including a required performance audit and restrictions on sending money to organizations tied to its staff and board. The bill has support from 7 city council members and faces opposition from Mayor Brandon Scott and BCYF. 10 votes would be needed to override a potential veto from Scott. We'll have more in the coming weeks on City Council's BCYF bill, and we'll continue to monitor how nonprofits spend your taxpayer dollars. For Spotlight on Maryland, I'm Patrick Huff.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel.